We have all kinds of clever ways of putting labels on ourselves or allowing others to put labels onto us. Well, what are these? Okay, well, a disorder, it's not that you or I or anybody is somehow fundamentally different than anyone else. I mean, we're all different, we're all unique, we all have different propensities, we all have different potentials and capacities and inclinations. We even have different degrees of neuroses. You may have one particular propensity towards a particular, let's say, disorder, and I may have a slightly different one. But there's a really important idea that's come out in the last couple of decades called epigenetics, right? And epigenetics basically, in summary, is the science of realizing of the effect of the environment on the expression of genes. So even though you may have a higher likelihood than somebody else towards a particular manifestation or expression of a genetic condition, whatever it is, it could be cancer, it could be obsessive compulsive disorder, it could be anything. The environment is what ends up being the main cause in how that gene is expressed, and if it becomes actually your destiny. So here's the amazing thing is the realization that your genes are not your destiny. It's an incredible thing how at the end of the day you have choice. So that film Gattaca, it's actually quite special because it's all about genetics and it's about overcoming one's genetics. And there's a because it's the story of a guy, I won't spoil it, but of a guy that was basically told he's not going to be able to do or live his dream, what he wanted to do, what he knew he was put on the earth to do. And the tagline for the film was actually quite brilliant too, because it's all about genetics. And then the tagline for the movie is there is no gene for the human spirit. The human spirit has the capacity and the potential to bend reality, to change reality. So these clever labels that people make a career out of discovering or creating, it doesn't really mean anything. They might give you a label, they might give me a label, oh, you have ADHD. Oh, cool. 50 years ago or 100 years ago, that was just a kid with a lot of energy, or typically just a boy, right? So now they're all being really, subhanAllah, it's such a demonic and insane sort of reality we live in, right? This is the worst time well, for everybody really, because when men fall, everybody falls. But the whole system and society, and I'm giving this example, that is designed to destroy boys and manhood, really. So a boy has to be boisterous, has to be a bit aggressive, has to be a bit nonconformist and rebellious. Like that's just part of the male masculine nature. It's actually what makes us human. It's what makes us men. It's part of our Islam, in fact, that because the masculine, will not submit to anything other than God. That's how Allah created us. So it's going to be rebellious by nature. Now it has to be tamed, it has to be disciplined, but that's a skill, and that's again, now that's part of your spiritual path. All of this becomes meaningless when you assign a label to it and then you give him some kind of a medication that just numbs and suppresses them. It's all pointless now. Life has lost its meaning. Your own self that you've got to overcome has lost its meaning. And society itself too begins to fall apart and fragment because, right, it's those very things that held it together. Breaking free, waking up from society's conditioning and programming, the disempowerment, the not knowing who you are, and learning to get in control of yourself and thus your life. Don't let society define you by these labels, which are really meaningless. Just 10 years ago, they came up with a new idea. And now it's like people think, oh, that's me. That's who I am. Now I got to deal with it. I got to take medication. I've got some kind of a disorder. In my opinion, it's all nonsense.